Hello and welcome to another episode of the hottest. This is the hottest podcast in the world. I know these other guys in the same room say that about their podcast, but I think this is the hottest podcast. So I'm with the lovely producer, Arian and my man, commercial real estate giant, broker, human, amazing person, went to high school with me. He still takes my calls, even though he's Mr. Amazing. Floyd Shaheen. We talk about commercial real estate. We talk about Paul McCartney's concert, The GOAT. We talk about home ownership, mass shootings, planes landing, how we would never want to be flying this plane alone when the pilot gets to be despondent, having children, exorcisms, farting, and marijuana, and how Arian is going to make an adjustment with his marijuana use. And here's something you should know. You should contact us. Follow us on social media and everywhere at LawFlip. You can also call us at 1-833-LawFlip. Also, very important. LawFlip is not just a podcast. It's actually a legal referral app, which can be found at www.lawflip.com. If you're a lawyer or you know any lawyers and you're not on that platform, there's a problem with you. And we're here to solve it. www.lawflip.com. Let's go.
LawFlip, objection, your honor. Turn the game upside down. LawFlip, objection, your honor. Turn the game upside down.
All right, before we get into the episode, we are going to do an interview with my longtime friend and comrade and successful commercial real estate broker, amazing human, Floyd Shaheen. Okay, Floyd, so good to see you.
So good to be here. Feels good to be home.
We've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm so excited to see you. We have a great history together. We went to high school together. We have some legendary experiences from high school. We went to a tough high school. Where did we go to high school?
Taft High School.
How would you describe Taft High School to anybody?
I think Taft High School was just a diverse environment where you could just really be yourself, and people really got along well from so many different backgrounds, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, that actually is a good description, and it was great. I think that a lot of people are surprised when they find out that I went there. I don't know why. They think I would have gone to like a private school or something, but Taft was a wild school, 4,000 kids. We had a very diverse crew, but what I've always known about you is just you have a great sense of humor, hard worker, and we just got along. And I've watched you over the years, and we've both had our ups and downs, and thankfully I think both of us have evolved a lot over the years, and I've watched you as a source of inspiration in your career, in your life, and dealing with challenges, and I just want to tell you I respect and admire you, and so happy to have you here. So tell us, what exactly do you do?
So I got into commercial real estate about 7-8 years ago as an assistant, was fresh out of UTA, United Talent Agency in Beverly Hills, which if you've seen Entourage or one of those shows, Lloyd the assistant. I wasn't Lloyd, but I was Floyd.
You're getting crushed.
I was getting crushed every day.
What was the worst thing you had to do as an assistant?
I mean, if I didn't put a period on a sentence of an email, I'd get a call at 8 o'clock at night, somebody yelling at me. Right. I mean, it was that brutal. But, you know, with that experience, I learned a lot of valuable lessons about client interaction, dealing with people, how to conduct your business and carry yourself, which translated into real estate and helped me with that process. You know, started off making like $2,000 a month on a paid salary, fell in love with the business, really liked what I was doing. Fast forward to 7 years later, you know, now I have a team under me. We've done about $300 million in sales. Woo! Over 85 transactions. I own a couple investment properties. I have a house, a wife, kids. Like
crazy.
Yeah, no, it is.
Were there points in your life that you did not think you'd be here?
Yes, there were points in my life where I think a lot of people go through it. It's just the self-doubt, turning that switch on to have the confidence in yourself to believe in things when it's just you relying on you.
Yeah. What was the main thing, would you say, that got you from that place to where you are now?
It's an interesting story. I actually, in between UTA and real estate, I started this little gift basket business with a buddy of mine.
I did not know this.
So we were importing these little tchotchke wood buckets from China with this stuff that if you gave it to me, I wouldn't take it. Right. So we imported like, I don't know, $1,000. I went down to the docks, I picked it up, and I ended up selling every one of them. And some of the times we go sell, there'd be a purchase order for like 4 of them, and I'd spend more money on gas driving there than the money we were making. But at that point, I knew it was like, if I can sell these baskets, I can sell anything.
Yeah.
So I just transitioned that into real estate, and my affection for people and wanting to protect people and to see people do well and help them achieve their dreams and goals and aspirations is a extremely rewarding feeling.
And so your everyday, how do you focus on building? You have a team of, I think, like 3 or 4, and you have to go find. It's mostly you want to represent the sellers, right? Isn't that the key in commercial real estate?
More or less, you want to control the inventory.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes from them seeing you, other listings you've had in the past, other sales, your credibility, your reputation, the way you conduct business. I mean, real estate's a very small world. A lot of, the other agents that work in the business that I've done deals with, they know I do business the right way. And I just think it's easier to just be straightforward, and it's time and hard work. That's really what it is.
What's the landscape right now as a person in real estate? By the way, why did you do commercial rather than residential?
I just fell into it.
Yeah. And then, okay, so as somebody that wants to understand the real estate market right now, and we're going to talk a little bit later about like housing prices, but in general, what's the landscape? When you're talking to property owners, what's the feeling? Are they desperate to unload? Do they want to hold? What's going on?
I think one of the biggest challenges right now is people, since interest rates were low for such a long period of time, people have a really high price expectation on the values of their properties.
Because people were so comfortable getting these great loans and they were willing to pay the higher
prices. Exactly. And what's happened now is the interest rates have gone up, so the underwriting on the loans and the lending is much different, which in turn affects the values, because there has to be a spread between the return of the income or the cap rate on a property, the income you're receiving, and the debt service, the loan. So there has to be a spread, and that spread is tightening. So prices have to come down so that the incomes on the property increase.
So what's the landscape? You're talking to property owners.
Right now we're just seeing a lot of our properties, and specifically there's a lot of price reductions happening because the market was inflated for such a long period of time that you could put a property on the market and the market would catch up to it at a high, you could put it on the market at a high price and then the market would catch up. Now you can't do that. Explain
to people, Arian, do you understand the fundamentals of like a commercial real estate transaction?
No, not at all.
Are you interested at all? Or
yeah,
no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Enlighten us.
So I like, the thing is that I've been doing real estate litigation. I've been around real estate my whole life. It's still complicated to me. And I think when people, especially younger people, they hear about commercial real estate, they're freaking lights. Like, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. They get it. It's a property. We're in a building right now. Somebody owns it. Somebody, gets rent for it. But explain to us, like, from a top level, from a person who is, how do you acquire it? Do you need, if you buy a $3 million property, do you need $3 million? How much money do you need to buy it? What are you looking at? What's the data that you're looking at? And try to make it the simplest terms possible. So just like in any business, investors have different philosophies and they go about it in different ways. Just like a stockbroker, you might have a value add stock or a value stock investor or a growth stock investor. Sure. With real estate, the way it works is you have a property, right? You put on the market for sale. People write offers on it. Mm-hmm. And most people that write those offers, they're either investors on commercial properties, either investors or it's an owner user. An owner user is somebody that's going to put their business there and operate for the next 30 years. It could be like if somebody might buy like a retail center, maybe Starbucks buys the retail center. They're not, I'm not using them as a specific example, but let's say they bought it, they have their business there, and then they could have, that's probably not, what's the best example of a owner or operator? Somebody that has a plumbing company. Yeah. Joe Smith Plumbing. Joe Plumber. Joe Plumber. 2008. Joe Plumber has a business and he wants to stop. He doesn't want to rent anymore. He wants to build equity in a property. Yeah. Owner users are willing to pay a little bit of a premium because they're not looking at it as an investment. Right.
they're going to be there for a long time. Now, investors look at properties based on the income that they're going to get, the rents from the tenants, minus their expenses.
Yep.
And then some other buyers look at properties on a price per square foot.
But also like how much money they have to put in order to obtain the property.
Correct, which would be their loan or their financing. So it's important to have good credit. It's important to have relationships with the bank. You have to save a certain amount of money to be able to make that initial down payment. But I think most people that I've worked with that it's buy their first property, it's a very addicting business.
Yeah. The thing that I think about that just like kind of overwhelms me when I think about real estate investment is like there's so many costs associated with owning a property that are known, right? There's the property taxes, insurance, all that stuff. But then there's like things that can come up that can totally make the thing lopsided. Have you seen a lot of people buy properties where it makes sense on paper and then something happens to totally derail it, or it generally basically works?
Yes, I've seen some people in certain instances their eyes are bigger than their stomach. They buy a property, they don't have a plan going in. And, if everything were to go perfect, it's a great opportunity for them, but they don't bake in obstacles and things happening, and it can turn ugly quickly.
Fixing up the property or other things.
Or just they underestimate the cost.
Arian, what, like from your perspective, what is something you just don't understand about commercial real estate? Or is it you just don't understand anything?
The loans.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what about them?
So I understand that like you have to build credit and whatever. Businesses buying property and how they establish credit, how a business establishes credit, that's something that I don't get. And then also, I guess really just like the financing process of like buying a property.
Okay, tell us.
I think, I'm not on the financing side of it, but I do have experience working with the lenders and the bankers. A lot of it has to do, they just want as much information on the buyer as possible.
Right.
How likely is this person going to make their payments every month?
Right.
What are their tax returns? What is their debts that they owe? Are they upside down? How much are they leveraged? It really goes into figuring out the profile, all those different types of factors. Excuse me. And then from that point, they look at, okay, this person, you're going to have to put 30-40% down. So it's $1 million property. They want $400,000 down. Now you're going to have to debt service $600,000.
Right.
So are you going to be able to make those payments?
Right.
If it's an owner user, is your business making enough money to be able to make those payments? If you're an investor, are the rents going to cover that debt service?
Right. And then, of course, is the property worth in excess of the amount of the loan? So that if for some reason the bank does have to foreclose, they can at least know that they have the money to get it back out
Correct.
of the property. What is something that you think distinguishes you, from other brokers?
That's a great question, because there are a lot of brokers in the business. It's very competitive. It is the most businesses.
Yeah.
It's a dog-eat-dog world.
Yeah.
I think what separates me from my competition is that I'm honest and I deal in integrity, and I have a very, very high level of service. Somebody calls me, I get back to them in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or I answer the call right away.
Yeah.
I just put myself in my client's shoes. If I'm selling a multi-million-dollar property and I call my agent, I want the guy to answer the phone.
For sure. Amazing. So how do we get in touch with you? If you want to either buy a commercial property, learn more about it, be mentored, sell a property, pretty much talk about whatever related to commercial real estate, how do we get a hold of you?
You can reach out to us in a couple ways. We have an Instagram account, Floyd Group CRE. You can email me at Floyd, Floyd, my last name, SHAHEEN, at marcusmillichap.com, MarcusMillichap.com. You can hit me up on Facebook. You can call me on my office line.
What's the number?
818-212-2667.
By the way, this guy is very humble. He is absolutely annihilating the game right now. He's selling. It's like, and you're not the type of person to really, you don't have an ego, right? So, but you do in your world kind of have to list the sales and all that stuff. You're doing some stuff.
No, thank you, Benji. I appreciate it.
You're doing some stuff, man.
That's really sweet.
Dinner's on you tonight. All right, can we have you stick around for the show?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so first of all, I have to say, I went to. Are you guys Beatles fans? Do you know what the Beatles are?
I know what the Beatles are. Yes, sir.
Not the bug.
Yeah. So I took my dad for his birthday. My dad's there's only a few things in life that he actually cares about. It's the Yankees, it's the Beatles, it's JFK, and then work. And I think his kids. He's obsessed with the Beatles, and he brainwashed us into loving the Beatles. And so we took him to Paul McCartney. The guy's 80 years old. He's turning 80 in a month. Wow. Paul McCartney. And he played at SoFi Stadium, which is unbelievable. It's the first time I've been there. The weirdest thing is we bought super expensive seats because it was a once in a lifetime thing on the floor, like very close up. You have to walk you have to walk for about a half an hour. Like just once you're in the stadium, you have to walk down like 12 to 15 ramps. It's bizarre. You'd think if anybody had an easy way to get to the thing, it would be like the high cost seats. So we get down there, we're watching the show. The guy performed for 2.5, 3 hours straight, almost 80 years old, not an ounce of sweat.
Wow.
Okay. I was exhausted just sitting there watching him. And it was greatness. It was greatness in the flesh. There's 80,000 people there hanging on every word this guy says. And it was so inspiring that this guy, who at 80 years old is going to command an audience in any way, shape, or form, like basically by himself. He has a band, amazing band behind him, but like, it was just incredible. It was like, there were some moments in there that was like spiritual. I mean, Let It Be, Hey Jude. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And what's really amazing is at one point he was like, look, I know that there's going to be phones and lights on the big songs. And I could do, like, basically I could do he did 36 songs. He could do 50 hits. I mean, they had their catalog, the Beatles and McCartney's catalog is so big that he could do straight hits. But he's like, nope, I'm going to do the songs that I want to do. You're going to get the big ones. And then the ones that you don't like, the lights won't be shining. And I'm okay with that. And I just thought, like, it was amazing to see somebody at his age still after it and doing it, just super inspirational. So that's what I have to say about Paul McCartney. Anyway, we're moving on to some of the topics. So we talked about real estate with you, Floyd, but what is it like right now, Arian? Is it a good time to buy a home?
I wish, man. I'm never gonna buy a house in my life. I'm just waiting for the fucking day that the market just comes crashing fucking down. Everybody has to foreclose, and I could go fucking buy a house. I'm waiting.
You gotta stack your cheese between now and that time.
Seriously.
So buying a home, you bought a home.
Yeah,
I'm trying to buy a home. It's so hard, man. It's just so hard.
It's a tough question. When I bought my house a few years ago, I had friends that were saying, "Hey, what are you doing buying a house? The market's going to crash."
Yeah.
And then I bought the house and it went up 40% in value.
Wow.
So as far as timing the market, either, as rates go up, prices are going to come down. So either you're going to pay with a higher interest rate or you're going to pay with a higher price. Right. So it kind of balances itself out.
Would you buy a house today, this moment?
At the right price, yes.
Okay.
I would just, be conscious of what you're buying.
Just 30% of adults surveyed in a new poll think it's a good time to buy, down 23 percentage points from a year ago. It's the first time the share has been less than 50% since the question was asked in 1978. Home prices are up 34% since the start of the pandemic, according to the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Home Price Index. So the challenge is that, first of all, the prices have just continued to go up forever. The problem with California, specifically LA, is it doesn't match the rest of the country. You're dealing with such a specific place where, like, it depends on are you in the 0 to 1 million range? Are you in the 1 to 3 million range? There's a whole pocket, right? Like $15 million plus that doesn't really get affected that much by the swings in the market. Like people that have the money to buy a $15 million house, like it just doesn't change their perspective that much.
Well, they're not really looking at the interest rates as much because they're all cash buyers generally.
A lot of times. Yeah. And then also in LA, you have a lot of like foreign money. I mean, now they're kind of cracking down on that. I think Russians are not able to really buy here right now, as far as I know. What are you seeing in terms of like foreign money still coming into the market, so you don't really deal with that much?
I'm not too hands-on with that aspect.
So like bottom line is home prices are going up, income is kind of down, inflation's up. It's a weird time, Arian.
Yeah. So here's my question for you. Do you think that I'm in my early 20s? Do you think I'll ever be able, or my peers and me, people my age, will ever be able to own a home?
In Los Angeles.
What
is Los Angeles?
West Side.
Well, I think that's a great. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do what quality of life are you looking for.
Yeah.
Do you want to have more of a nomad lifestyle, or do you want to hunker down and have a place where you can plant some plants in the backyard and jump in the pool? Or it's a really personal question. And I think nowadays with kids, the apartment living lifestyle, the co-living thing, a lot of people are comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like let's say single family house in the city, like pool in the backyard,
how much
front
are you
yard.
making? Are you making like a normal living?
Yeah.
No. The answer is no. Just no. Stop. It's not
Right.
going to happen. I'm just
Right.
You are not going to live in Brentwood, in Bel Air, or anywhere on the West Side or Los Angeles if you're making a normal living and you don't have an inheritance. It's just not going to happen.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's real.
Nuts.
Nowadays, it's just harder to get going off the jump.
Yeah.
It's just, if you don't have support or help or somebody helping you, it's a lot tougher to get going with the cost of living.
To save money, but remember, because it's not just to get the down payment
Right.
and then to afford it. You're living in a place where everything is more expensive. Your car insurance is more
Right.
expensive. Your gas is more expensive. Your every single thing. So now you have to accumulate that extra wealth to pay for it, but you can't do that because you're paying for it along the way, and then you throw in private school. I
Right.
mean, it's tough.
So another question for you. So I know residential properties, there are a bunch of different loan options for people trying to buy their first house. Are there those same kinds of benefits for the first bit of commercial real estate you buy?
In commercial real estate, for people that have their own business, there's what's called SBA, Small
Right.
Business Administration. And if you're going to put your business in more than 50% of a property, the government will subsidize a loan and work tandemly with a lender in order to make it easier to get that loan.
You could put something like as low as 3% or something like that.
Wow.
During the
Wow.
pandemic, they got under 3%.
Wow. So right now, Arian, let's say he builds his business as a production company. He eventually wants to build a studio. He can hopefully work with the SBA, get $1 million property, and put something like $30,000. No, am I right? Yeah.
Well, you put 10% down.
You put 10% down.
So it'd be $100,000 on a
Oh,
million.
because SBA is generally 10%.
Correct.
Okay, so $100,000. So if you come with $100,000, you could buy a piece of commercial real estate.
That's actually nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Yeah,
believe in
Thank you.
I 100% believe in you. Okay, moving on to some not so other bright news, but this is really horrible. So obviously there's the tragedy in Buffalo, and I don't even know how you keep up with all these shootings. How do we keep up with them, guys? How do we keep up with them?
Can't.
Are you a gun guy?
Literally can't.
You're not a gun guy.
I've shot a gun a couple times, but no, I'm
You
not a gun guy.
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm not either. So this shooting in Buffalo is a fan of our friend Tucker Carlson. The suspect is in the fatal shooting of 10
So
people.
surprised,
Yeah.
So surprised.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I thought he'd be a fan of Bernie.
Yeah.
Although somebody would point out that a fan of Bernie actually shot a congressman one time. So Bernie people are wild too. So the suspect in the fatal shooting of 10 people at a Buffalo, New York supermarket Saturday was reportedly haunted. This guy was haunted in his writings by the Great Replacement conspiracy theory. Like, could you imagine, like, you wake up every day and you're haunted by, like, the fact that immigrants might come and take your... I mean, that's a really
You have to
weird...
be really bored. You really have to be bored.
Get a fucking job.
Yeah, dude.
A viciously racist view of the world that has been touted by Fox News host Tucker Carlson and several other right-wing personalities. So the killer, who's white, repeatedly returned to the conspiracy theory in his 100-page online manifesto. So what do we think about this case? Is this just like a lost 18-year-old that just found his way into the brainwash world of Fox News? What's going on? Anybody?
I think this is a reflection of where culture's at, Benji, and the conspiracy theory thing is really running rampant.
Yeah.
It's people have trouble fact checking.
Yeah.
Especially when everything is politicized the way it is. I mean, especially with a tragic shooting like this and it becoming an issue of politics. I mean, people died.
Yeah, I mean, look, in his manifesto, he refers to racial replacement and white genocide, and the first page included a symbol known as the Sonnenrad, which was once used by Nazis, but it's been adopted by white supremacists. Arian, what's your take?
It's like, this guy's like, how old? He was 18?
Yeah.
3 years younger than me. You know? Like, he's my age.
Yep.
And like, to think about what kind of holes in social media you have to like fall into to get to that point. At first, when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh my God, it's so difficult to end up there. And like, he also has to be dealing with like so many mental issues and like that compounded, and it must take so long to get there. And then I think about it and I'm like, no, you spend like 4 hours on TikTok, you could basically get into like the smallest niche possible.
Totally.
And like, it isn't that hard to start being completely surrounded by the content that he was surrounded by.
Look, Tucker Carlson is one of the most successful broadcasters.
Yeah.
And he spews this stuff nonstop. I don't, people say he believes what he says. I don't know if he truly believes what he says, but he knows he failed a few times in journalism. Like, he had a few shows, didn't work, and he is
the bow tie era.
The bow tie era, yeah. Oh my God, why doesn't he wear it anymore?
Because he knew he looked like a little bitch when he wore it.
But look, I think that's the thing with me is like, I'm a lawyer, I'm a critical thinker, I try to be at least, and I basically start from a position of prove that to me.
Right.
Prove that to me. So when I hear conspiracy theories, I would love to believe in conspiracy. I like, sometimes I hear them, I'm like, ooh, this is fun. But I can't like suspend disbelief when I hear somebody say crazy stuff. And I think, look, he's 18 years old, or he's 18 years old. So it's just parenting, obviously. And how do you explain how tens of millions of people follow the Tuckers of the world? They are not. And the truth is that I just heard a story of a surgeon, one of the top surgeons I know of in Los Angeles. He anti-vaxxer, and I'm not getting into the whole vax discussion, but he is one of the top surgeons in Los Angeles, California, at one of the top institutions. Complete anti-vaxxer, and apparently fainted in the middle of a surgery from like COVID symptoms. Like, wow. It's just that's a genius guy that just doesn't believe in like getting the vaccine, and he's in medicine. It's tough. And I'm not, this isn't a COVID vaccine type of thing, but it just like,
you're gonna get a disclaimer on our podcast now.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Benji. Why is it that when polio was a big thing 60, 70 years ago, everybody was galvanized to get vaccinated and be together? And now, what's the difference?
Collectivistic. So it was more of a collectivistic society, and it's more individualistic and selfish and entitled. And also, there's been some characters that have come along that have sold some good stories about
the messaging funnel overall. It was so much tighter, controlled back then.
And like common sense, like for some reason, just why common sense carried the day. There's only 3 major channels, I'm not back in polio, there was no channels, but like, there was like the mass media was even more controlled than what it is now. And everybody has a voice now. Alex Jones has a voice. Tucker Carlson has a voice. Everybody's got a voice. And people want to latch onto something, religion, a conspiracy theory. They love it. You know, I want to latch onto things. We all want to. I want to latch onto something to get me out of my challenging day. I just like, if I could go down a rabbit hole of this stuff, maybe I would. I just like the training of fact checking has been so part of my life that I just can't. So anyway, let's go to a lighter subject. Could you guys imagine being on a plane and being asked to take over as pilot? Could
Fuck
you
no.
I'd be looking for a parachute.
Did you guys see this? I saw this video, and the guy with no apparent flying experience, he was managed to land a small plane in Florida on Tuesday after the pilot became incoherent following a medical emergency. First of all, I don't understand how this doesn't happen more. Like, you have so many flights every day. I don't want to think about this too much because I love traveling more than anything, but it's pretty like, the thing is, that's why they have two pilots. But this guy, he was cool as a cucumber. He took it over. He was talking to the dispatcher, and he was chilling. He landed the plane. I think I would. I don't even think I would try.
When you get on a plane, when you travel, do you try to eyeball the pilot as you walk by?
100%.
How's this guy?
100%.
Is he healthy?
Yeah, 100%. Is he looking good? Is he looking fit? Is he looking mentally stable? First of all, I think I should be able, they have to do like monthly check-ins with a therapist. I want to check that guy. I want to ask him some questions. But the dispatcher told the passenger to maintain wings level. Imagine. What the fuck is that?
Like how? Like what?
Well, there's like 7,000 buttons on the thing. Maintain wings level and to just try to follow the coast. Either north or southbound.
And he did it. And he did it.
He landed it. He was like able to walk the passenger through the steps to land it. I don't know. I just think at that point, do you even attempt? Like, do you even have the balls to attempt it?
See, like I would, like my fingers would go numb. Like I would want to try, but I'd be flipping my shit.
I think you just like close your eyes and ask for mommy. I mean, at that point, I don't know. I think you just give up. No, you work through it because you got a life to fight for. But here's an amazing story. I love stories like this. So, are you under pressure from your family to have children? Floyd, I know you already have children, but were you under pressure?
I mean, fortunately, our biggest problem is, we might have to turn off the spigot pretty soon because.
Wait. What do you mean?
We're just, we have 3 kids and we're actually thinking about having a 4th kid. So fortunately we don't have that, issue. But I see a lot of my peers and friends that don't have kids, their parents put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah. What about you, Arian? I know there's got to be pressure.
I mean, there's just like a lot of family pressure overall. I'm just not there yet, like right now it's still the like, get your work settled, get married, all of that stuff.
Yeah. But they want that grandchildren.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So if you are under pressure, I hope you don't get sued if you don't comply. So an Indian couple has sued their son and daughter-in-law demanding a grandchild. I love this story. They say they invested in their son's education and wedding and therefore are owed at least monetary compensation for their kids not having grandchildren for them. They actually went back to all the money they spent on supporting their relationship and the education of their kid, and then the wedding, and then the what's the thing? The honeymoon. They paid for the honeymoon to go to Thailand. They literally filed a lawsuit seeking, I think it's like $650,000 worth of fees that they're looking for, and basically, they spent $80,000 on a 5-star wedding, all this stuff. So, what do you guys think?
Is this a credible case, Benji?
I mean, in reality, no. I mean, unless there are promises made. If there are promises made, I don't know. If you make a contract, it's not illegal to say, like, yes, I will support you. That's my part of the contract. I will pay these expenses. And on the other hand...
Because surrogacy is legal in some degree.
Yeah.
And if they did have an agreement, it would be something like that.
Yeah. Is it enforceable? Who knows? I mean, I don't think there's any case law on this stuff because there may be. But...
Imagine being like a 12-year-old boy, like one day you're like scrolling through like old stories that your parents have like put away, and then you like come across the things like, oh, my grandparents sued my parents so I could get bored.
Kid. That's amazing. But What unreasonable demands do your parents have of you, Arian?
Unreasonable demands?
Yeah.
It's just everything every day.
Give me like the most like the thing that like somebody outside your family will look at and be like, your parents are demanding that you do that. Give me one.
There's just so much.
Give me.
It's behind the closed doors.
Okay.
I can't.
You can't. Nothing, huh?
I mean, I didn't say nothing.
No, nothing that you could say.
Nothing that I could say.
Okay, fair enough. So it's unreasonable, and there's going to be an avalanche of. See, this is what parents really want. Like this is like the enmeshment. It's really what this is enmeshment. How do you balance between being a helicopter parent and controlling and letting go? How do you do it?
I think that's the biggest question for all of us as parents, and it's just balance. It's balance. It's reading your kids. Do they need a hug right now, or do they need me to back off and they got to figure it out? I mean, it's that using our own judgment to make the best decisions, and then even then we might make the wrong decisions.
Yeah. Speaking of some sicko shit, there's some stuff going on at a church in San Jose. So this is I don't even know if I could talk about this. It's so brutal. There's basically a 3-year-old girl. Faith leaders at a tiny church in San Jose where a 3-year-old girl perished last fall have confirmed that they performed a ceremony on the child to liberate her of her evil spirits. But what happened was the quote-unquote will of God, not the consequences of an exorcism when she died. So basically, she died by asphyxiation, and it was been ruled a homicide by the Santa Clara County Medical Examiner's Office. Her mother was charged, but I think the priest was not. And they basically held her down, and like they didn't feed her for a while. I mean, religion? Is this what is this a sign of? Is this people just they needed conspiracy theories, they need religion, they need to do some weird shit? What is it?
I don't know. It's fucked.
No explanation.
It's so incredibly fucked. Also, it just like makes me think about the relationship that we have in the United States with religion, like, and just like Christianity and like how baked it is in our society. Gets a little much sometimes.
But see, everybody, like, we all look at other religions and say, that's crazy, right?
Yeah. It's always the other religion. But, like, they're all fucked up. Like, they're all fucked up.
And like, I love being Jewish, and I raise my kids Jewish, and I'm so proud to be a Jew. But there's crazy shit everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I don't know about exorcism and stuff, but, yeah, I don't know. Okay, on to a lighter note. A Brazilian football player or soccer player was dropped from his first team, ultimately fired for. What do you think he was fired for? What is a justifiable fireable offense?
He didn't kick the ball in the goal.
He was farting too much. So, a League One footballer was dropped from the first team after continuously farting and laughing in the dressing room.
Incredible.
Brazilian defender Marcelo Antonio Guedes. First of all, how do I get 4 names? Jesus, 4 names.
Why does it sound like totally something you would do?
I would never do that. What I was thinking about the other day is, and people have mentioned this before, at some point they're going to make it where when you're walking, you're going to be able to like visually see gas that comes out of people. No?
Have you seen those videos? The heat camera videos?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
See the fart coming out.
Because like I was in that stadium for the Paul McCartney. It's like 70,000 people. It's like, can you imagine what's going on in that stadium with 70,000?
Every second there's somebody.
Every second, yeah. But some people say like, well, is this a case? When somebody gets fired for farting, is that a case? What do you think? Is that a case? Before I even give my opinion, is that a case?
I mean, depending on how hardcore this guy's been farting in the room.
Is he injuring people with his farts?
He's like he's endangering people. Like people are literally throwing up.
Straight up.
No, but here's the thing. It's not like when you get fired for something in California, you can get fired for any reason or no reason at all. Like you don't even need your employer doesn't need to give you a reason for firing, but if they give it to you, it has to be illegal in order for it to be wrongful. So you get fired, and there's just a category of things that you can be sued for wrongful termination. It's like if you discriminate against somebody based on their race or their nationality or their sexual orientation or something else that's protected, like a medical condition, ooh, maybe this guy had a medical condition that caused him to fart too much.
Yeah, but he didn't. This guy was like in the locker room
laughing about it.
That guy just, he literally he's still living that. Like, the truth is, and my kids, they love a fart. I mean, there's nothing more in life than
doesn't?
my kids.
Some people are crop
And
dusters.
yeah. I mean, honestly, it still is funny. If fart is still funny. When my kids get the whoopee cushions and they make me fart with the whoopee cushion, it's the funniest thing. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Elon Musk and the Tesla, there's the fart button. I play that thing nonstop. It's the funniest thing ever. It just is. So, but here's the advice. In the workplace, keep the farts to a minimum. At least, like, give a courtesy fart where you're like, walk a little bit away. Don't broadcast it.
Benji, before the episodes, back when we were in the old office, he would walk away. He'd walk to the other side of the room, and then he would come back and be like, "Don't go over there." Just fart.
That's such a lie. Okay, Arian, has marijuana been good for you?
No.
No, it hasn't.
No.
No. Okay.
I really gotta stop.
Why?
Oh, dude, just takes up too much time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it costs so much money.
Yeah, I've been
so
able to.
expensive.
I always say this. All I want to do in life is do drugs and alcohol. I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't work for my body, and so I'm jealous of people that can like thrive. The Seth Rogans of the world.
I'll say though that like when it is time to like play hard, I'm getting baked out of my mind.
There's nothing better than going out on and like having a great night and being able to like find a balance of like drugs and alcohol. If you're able to do that, it's just, for me, it's just so hard.
Right.
It's just so hard. My body doesn't appreciate it. But there's this story where they say that young adults, you're a young adult, and I'm really a young adult.
Oh, yeah.
I like to think I'm a young adult. The consumption of alcohol, cigarettes, other substances fell following the marijuana legalization. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah. Definitely, I see that in my peers.
Yeah.
Definitely. Everybody prefers smoking weed.
No, but like, it's almost like, yes, people smoke a stove when you're out and you're drunk or high, but like the cigarette consumption is down in general.
Yeah.
It is being replaced, unfortunately, with, I don't even know if what's called vapes are any healthier, but I mean, you certainly see everybody smoking vapes. There's something just less gross about seeing a vape than there is about smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. I think like that was something a lot with my peers is like everybody thinks cigarettes are gross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everybody thinks that people who smoke cigarettes are gross, particularly among like the under 27 group.
Like it's
So you
it's
just
like,
don't
okay,
see
so
it.
you there's
Yeah.
something like specifically
There's something wrong with you.
right.
Yeah, that whole image
Yeah.
of the Marlboro cowboy, that's long gone. That's not cool anymore.
I
or the
do
Dean
so-
Martin, or the
I know, but
James Dean.
I'm not gonna say it.
It's
Retail-
replaced with J's though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that vibe, like having something in your hand.
It's
and
cool to smoke
smoking
a
it.
joint now.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. I mean, it's always been cool to smoke a joint, but it's like
Really
just-
cool.
Yeah. Retail cannabis sales are associated with decreases in the use of alcohol, cigarettes, and pain medications. I like that by young adults, according to data published in the Journal of Adolescent Health. Researchers within the University of Washington assessed trends in alcohol, nicotine, and non-prescribed pain relievers, and it's just going down. It's going down since the cannabis legislation. And so I don't know. I'm happy. I don't understand why. I get cocaine, I get heroin not being legal, but I still don't understand the argue. I don't totally understand the argument because it's accessible. So it's accessible. So why is it okay? Why does it make sense to have alcohol and other drugs legal and not cocaine and heroin? Do you guys have any opinion on that or no? Or am I just alone?
Wasn't it just like the whole racist thing?
What?
It was like
that because like crack cocaine puts black people in jail, that the lawmakers are less.
well, like that's just like the overall war on drugs whole deal. Like it's incredibly stupid that we put people in jail for addiction.
Yeah.
Also, just like another thing, just to add on to what you're saying, there are people in jail in this country right now for like having on them less weed than like I smoke in one afternoon. You know what I mean? And they're in jail for years.
It's just so unfair.
Years. And like I smoked that same amount.
What are
in
you
one
gonna do about
sitting.
that privilege, dude?
It's crazy.
What are you gonna do about that privilege? How are you gonna fight?
You know, it's
knowing that
interesting, Benji, that we're talking about this. I actually read a book a couple years ago when all of the marches were going on, and it's called Me and White Supremacy. And I consider myself a very fair person that, you know, I try to treat everybody the same way. And this book really opened my eyes to the subconscious, systemic things that we do as far as race relations.
Any examples that like come to mind?
I would say one example would be that really stood out to me personally was they talked about in the book, let's just say there's an African American woman that's very passionate about what she's talking about, and she's yelling and she's raising her voice and she's trying to get her point across. I would usually kind of shut down because the person's yelling and screaming. But instead of saying to myself, well, this person has a passionate about a point she's making, and I should listen to what she's saying. Just little things like that, or that, you know, being colorblind, we're colorblind.
Right.
Well, that's not really the way the real world is.
Right.
So these certain people are at a disadvantage.
100%. 100%. Okay, we are moving on to legal tip.
If your employer is letting you go and presents you with a severance agreement, ask yourself, why is my employer doing this? It may be that you have valuable claims that your employer is trying to get you to give up for nothing. To find out if that's the case, contact me today for a free and confidential consultation.
A lot of the time employers are like, you know what? I want to see dedication. What does dedication mean to them? Working more and not getting paid overtime. Working more than 8 hours in a day, more than 40 hours in a week. I see Arian smirking over there. Just fun to see him smirk. Anyway, so a lot of employers, they will, you know, in a backhanded way, basically encourage you to do things that are illegal. And whose favor is it in usually? In the employer's favor. They know that you're supposed to pay an employee time and a half when it's over 8 hours. They know they're supposed to pay an employee time and a half when they work over 40 hours in a week, but they don't do it. Instead, they say, oh, you're showing such great dedication, or they'll even guilt them into doing it. Like, how could you not do that? And then if somebody raises a complaint about it, like, are you really going to ask for time and a half? You're working the same amount of time. So you should know that if your employer in any way, shape, or form, if you are a non-exempt worker and you are and you're being asked to work overtime, you need to be paid overtime. And if you're not, give us a call. 833, I just forgot our number. 1-833-LawFlip. We're Smith Law. We're an employment, personal injury, and class action law firm. Give us a call, text us, email us, hit us up on social media anytime. So, Floyd, it was wonderful to be with you. Arian, we had some laughs. We had some cries. I've been looking for a cry.
Benji, thank you for having me here. I love you. You are doing great. You look amazing.
Thanks.
I'm just happy to be hanging out with you, man.
Dude, you're
a great guy. You're a
amazing
stud.
person, amazing friend. It's just good to surround yourself with positive, amazing people looking to have a good time and encourage one another. That's why we love having Floyd in the studio and always having Arian here. Arian takes my what is it? Constructive feedback. He takes my bullshit as being something different than what it is.
I love you.
I know, I love you too. Okay, we'll see you next time, LawFlip.